Thank you for taking time to join this session today. We have few more participants joining in. Please give us another 2 minutes, then we'll start the session. Thank you. Doctor, with your permission, shall we start the session now, or should I wait for some more time? We still have many doctors joining in.
Okay, we can start. We'll just go over the introduction and probably the poll questions.
Sure. Thank you, Doctor. So thank you to everyone for taking time to join this session today. So we all are here today to discuss about the medical PG pathway for international medical graduates in Canada, that is how to become a practicing doctor in Canada. So our guest for today is Dr. Surbhi Singh. She's done her MBBS from India and now she is in PGY1, Family Medicine Trainee in Canada. A very warm welcome to you, Doctor, and thank you so much for taking time from your busy schedule to be a part of this session today. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, Ashwini, for having me here. Thank you, Inspire IMG, for giving me the platform, and Maheen for doing all the hard work. Welcome, everyone, to my presentation, and good evening. My name is Surbhi. As Ashwini already mentioned, I did my MBBS from India, and then I immigrated to Canada in 2019 and started my residency pathway. Along my process, I felt that there was very inadequate information, especially for IMGs being internationally trained medical doctors. And once I got through my match, I do these awareness sessions and also one-on-one mentorship in Canada to help candidates like myself.
Right.
So we launch the poll questions now.
Yes. So before we go ahead with the session, please help us to understand you a bit more. You will see 3 poll questions coming up. Please choose the relevant answer. The first one is, in which year of graduation are you? This is just to understand, are you still student or have you finished post-graduation? No. Is the poll question up?
Yeah, I can see that.
Ashwini has just disconnected, but I'll take the questions with. There's a question from Dr. Niyati. Is there any path for Indian doctors to practice in Canada?
For some reason, I'm not able to see. Do we have the answers, Doctor?
I do.
Is that possible?
So from the polls, I see almost 50% of our participants have completed MBBS plus internship. Some of them are pursuing post-graduation. 14% of them have completed post-graduation, and a few of us are pursuing MBBS and internship. So we have a good mix of audience today, and this talk may be relevant to all of you.
Great.
Next question, please.
Okay. Dr.
The next
Aditya
question
asks,
is,
where can I
if
get
you've
guidance
decided
for
it is
practice
Canada
study
for
assessment,
you,
and how
we just
hard
hope
is
that
it
you've
compared to CARM's
preparing
residency
for the
pathway?
Canada exams.
He means in terms of number of spots.
We do. People are still answering, but we have about 113 answers until now. And 79% of us have not decided our path yet, and we're still like figuring out our options. Whereas like roughly 20% of our attendees have decided, and they may be in some of the process, maybe early on, applying for the Canadian pathway.
Great. So one last question. We just want to know what is your biggest challenge in your journey? I mean, all of you over here are exploring international career options. We want to know what's your biggest challenge in this journey. So you can see the relevant options.
Sure.
Do we have the answers, Doctor?
Yes, we're still going on again at 115 answers right now. Our winner is lack of mentorship or connections. Coming up high at 26% would be the uncertainty.
There's a subjective question from
goes
Dr.
during
Shimali.
exams,
She asks, is completing medical PG in India advantageous to get matched?
Sure.
Or like,
Thank you
does it
so much.
put a
Thank you
good
to
impression?
each of you for answering these questions and making it easier for us to understand you even more better. So now we are starting the session. I think we have 150 plus doctors. So again, thank you so much, doctors. So the first one goes, I think we have to, because there are many young graduates over here today. What is the process of becoming a practicing doctor in the Canada? How does it start?
Okay. So I'm talking specifically from the point of view that all our attendees today have done their education, be it MBBS, post-graduation, or super specialization in India and no other country. So going from that perspective, practicing as a licensed physician in Canada, one needs to do the residency program all over again. This is exactly like the US path. So if somebody has done their post-graduation, they still need to repeat their residency in order to get a practicing license in Canada. So this was in very quick nutshell about how the residency program works like. I'm sure there must be a lot of questions, so we'll go over the questions, and I'm happy to explain any process if it wasn't clear the first time.
Sure. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you for a detailed explanation. We do have many questions. There are actually many questions that I'd actually put it down to ask you, but I'm seeing all those questions in the chat box now, so I'll go ahead with the FAQs itself. So we have Vishal, who's given you the whole list of questions. He's asking how many MD seats does Canada have for IMGs?
That is included in the PDF document I just shared, and it tells you the specialty and the number of spots available.
How much does the whole test taking process cost? He's asking approximately.
Oh wow, okay. So MCCQE1 is roughly $1,800. NAPOSCI is $3,000, so that is $4,800. Physicians apply in CARMS together is another $600. So $5,400. My math is not that good. $5,400 for that, and then about $300 to apply for a residency program. But then in the meanwhile, you'll need question banks, you'll need assistance for your CV, personal statements. So I would say $8,000 to $9,000 Canadian dollars is a good estimate.
Thank you. How much time does this whole journey take after one has completed MBBS?
How much time? So it's a very good question because it depends how early you start the process. If you do all your exams really quickly, then it's only about the matching process. So let's say the matching, the CARMS portal opens in October, November, and you need to do both your exams before October or November that particular year. So let's say if you want to apply for the next cycle, which would be 24, if you can do both of your exams and you meet all the eligibility criteria, you can apply for 24 cycle.
But generally for the preparation of exams and giving it a shot, I mean, how much time does that take, doctor?
Okay, so then again, it's a very personal question because it will depend on the individual's training level. I would say here, people who have just graduated MBBS or just done their internship may be at an advantage because they have read all their clinical subjects in the past couple of years, as opposed to somebody who is specialized in a particular field and they are away from, the rest of the medicine. Because the exam here does not focus on one specialty per se, it's very basic primary care, but definitely it's in the Canadian context. So you need to read about the public health, the ethical consideration, the preventive medicine. But I would say if you're doing a full-time dedicated study, 6 months is a very good estimate. And I think most of us should be able to prepare ourselves within the 6 months.
All right. How about securing the job as a doctor in Canada after one has done MD in India?
Oh, so just need a little bit of clarification on that. So you mean job as a practicing doctor in Canada after doing MD in India? Is that the question?
Yes, after completing post-graduation, I think back home, that is in India. He's asking how about working in Canada?
So it's the same process. You'll have to go through the residency pathway, and once you are done through residency, there's no deficiency of jobs. Like there's a scarcity of doctors of all healthcare resources. So as long as you're a licensed doctor in Canada, there is no shortage of jobs.
Do they prefer giving surgical branches to immigrants, let's say the IMGs? In US, there's a notion that securing a match in surgery is a real difficult task.
I would say it's similar here because when you look at the number of spots for surgical specialties, it's very limited. So just by going with the numbers, it's more difficult to get into a surgical specialty. Saying that, it's not impossible. I know an IMG who matched into obs and gynecology here in the 22 cycle. So it's not impossible, but yes, it's competitive.
Any other pathway by which an IMG can come and work as a doctor in Canada without having to appear for their licensing exams?
No. So without the licensing exams, there is unfortunately no pathway where an IMG can work as a doctor in Canada.
And how is I think we have many questions on this. What is the difficulty level of the exams, doctor? The MCCQ that you said, is it doable or is it very difficult?
So the exam is doable, and when I see and compare it to the NEET exam which we do in India, I feel NEET is very subject specific and they ask a lot of details about each and every specialty. In Canada, it's a little bit different. They just ask about the primary care. So that way, the difficulty level is not very hard, but a lot of people don't pass the exams because of the CDM sections, which is question 1 or 2 line question, which stems off because it focuses on all primary care, public and preventive care here. So I would say as far as the difficulty level goes, it's an average difficulty level, and I think a lot of IMGs do pass the exam.
Postgraduate from India who is a Canadian citizen should they do residency again? But I think
yes.
And I don't know if this question is complete. Can you tell about PRA practice ready assessment?
Yes, practice ready assessments are offered in some of the provinces. Not in Ontario. As far as I know, they're offered in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Alberta, and they have their own regulations. For practice ready as well, you need to do the MCCQE1 and NAC OSCE, as well as another exam called the therapeutic decision making. And after that, they also look at your residency or training experience back home, and they have certain specifications for that as well. But that is another option for IMGs. However, the spots are limited. They have 3 exams, and from what I've heard by different people, you need to find a preceptor for yourself, which could be challenging, but that's one pathway. If you're eligible for that, you should definitely see how you can apply for that too.
I'm a holder of MRCP UK with GMC registration. If I want to move to Canada from UK, should I undergo all this process, or is there an alternate pathway?
Okay, so I just need some clarification. What is MRCP UK? Is it a residency training, or it's just licensed to practice medicine as a general practitioner?
Okay. It just, can we move Dr. Moses to, can you ask the question, or should I answer Dr. Surbhi?
Okay, MRCP is residency training. Okay. So there is a pathway for people who have trained in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and USA. For them, they can do practice under supervision for 6 months to 1 year and do their exams, and they can transition into independent practice. I personally know 3 anesthesiologists who've come via that pathway, training into US and UK. So that is that is relatively less time consuming and has good success results.
All right. But MRCP UK is not, it is just a mid-process pathway, doctor. I mean, after this, they have to do their ST, complete the SE exam to get the consultant status in the UK, to have that CCT. They're not called MRCP as a, let's say, like, the residency is done. It's not like that. It's just a mid-path. It's a membership exam to get in place.
Okay.
Right?
So what I would do, I would look into the licensing guidelines of Canada and see for foreign trained medical graduates. I know there are pathways for physicians who've trained, and by trained I mean completed their residency in certain disciplines all over UK, Australia, New Zealand, and US, who can transition to practice under supervision.
I guess we have many questions on completing post-graduation. Do we still have to do the residency? I'm not taking those questions because Dr. Surbhi has already answered it. Correct, doctor? You already answered it. Even if we've done post-graduation, we still have to pass the Canada license.
Yes. Absolutely, yes.
How long do we have to be staying or studying in Canada to qualify for applying as IMG?
You don't need to stay or live in Canada to qualify as an IMG. So there are 2 different things happening here. One is with the immigration, and the other thing is with the licensing. So whatever immigration does, as long as you have a PR status and you haven't set foot in Canada, you're fine. You can apply for the exams. But you need to be either a citizen or a permanent resident to apply for a residency match.
So we have Dr. Imtiaz asking, if we do not have PR, means we cannot do residency. Is it possible to get PR in Canada? If so, how to get it? I think it's a very big...
Unfortunately, I'm not taking any immigration questions. That's not my area of expertise.
Okay. And this Pranjali is asking, can we give IELTS general instead of academic IELTS?
No, they have specifications as to what IELTS they want. They do also accept OET, TOEFL, but all of them are very program and university specific. So you'll have to check in the program descriptions, what do they accept.